चलो शुरू करी हाँ. Today we will go into our third lecture on induction, three-phase induction motor. Just a small recap of what we have done till now. We had studied the working principle of induction motor. We have seen that if a three-phase supply was given to the stator of the induction motor, a rotating magnetic field was produced, and in that rotating magnetic field, the conductors, rotor conductors were placed, and it was facing some force due to a Lorentz force, and it was going to rotate. And never our rotor conductors can achieve the speed of our rotating magnetic field. Otherwise, there will be no relative velocity, no EMF produced, hence no current and thereby no force on the conductor. And then what we had done, we had discussed the magnitude of our three-phase means rotating magnetic field, and we found out it to be of constant value. Maximum value was 1.5 times of the maximum MMF, and it was rotating in nature, as in time as well as in space. We had classified induction motor into two types according to its rotor construction: wound rotor induction motor and squirrel cage induction motor, and I have shown you the images also. Today, as
মানে
discussed,
ওই টাইম স্পেসে করছে বলে ওটা কি স্ট্যান্ডিং ওয়েভ হবে তো তাহলে?
স্ট্যান্ডিং ওয়েভ মানে
মানে মানে মানে ধরুন টাইম স্পেস মানে একটা কোন সাইনোসয়েডাল, ধরুন থিটা হচ্ছে আপনার এটা স্পেস আর ওমেগা টি হচ্ছে এটা, তাহলে এরম টাইপের কি ধরুন এফ যদি ম্যাগনেটিক ফোর্স হয় এফ কস থিটা কস ওমেগা টি, তো
cos omega t, f theta and f cos omega t. It is moving in a sinusoidal in nature, plus in space it is rotating 360 degree in a space circle dhore rao. That is what I'm was telling you. Achha. As told you that in induction motor we have to solve various problems. So we'll start with the discussions of that by deriving some of the formulas which you will be requiring to solve the problems. Today we'll discuss one set of equations, and using that we will try to solve some problems. So let's start. So these are the equations which are needed. I have written it point by point. You can, I'll send you the PDF, you can note it down. It is given in Himra or any other books also, you can find it out. See, we have to find the equations of rotor EMF, current, and make some power calculations. All motor problems, all transformer problems lead to some calculations of efficiency, right? So efficiency means you need to calculate the losses. Input minus losses will give you your output, and output by input into 100 will give you efficiency in percentage. So all these calculations are required in induction motor also. But according to its structure and all, the formulas will go on changing, and its equivalent circuit, the formulas will go on changing. Now we had also discussed that in transformer and similarities of transformer and induction motor, and in that we found out that in transformer there was primary and secondary winding. Over here also same, stator and rotor windings. So those will have some resistances and leakage reactances, and according to that we have derived some of the formulas. So my first point, which is mentioned over here, last day we took a problem and we discussed about some natures of slip: s equal to 0, s greater than 1, s less than 1, s negative, and 0 to 1. Those conditions I had shown you. So if I'm doing with induction motor only, I'm not going for braking or generating mode. So there will be two modes: one is standstill, one is motoring mode. So slip will be between 0 to 1. So at standstill, what happens? My NR is 0, you know. So what will be slip? NS minus NR by NS. So if NR is 0, so NS by NS equal to 1. So slip is 1. So at standstill, my slip is 1. As my NR is 0, so slip speed will be what? NS minus NR, that is NR 0, so NS. So let at this starting point, when slip is 1, that is rotor is stationary, the EMF generated in the rotor circuit be E2. Okay, yeah, rotor, so E2. If it is stator, it will be E1. You know all these conventions from transformer only. And I have taken per phase EMF. So remember, we are talking about three-phase induction motor. So star and delta connections will come in problem. So please be careful about that. E2 over here is per phase EMF, and VL equal to root 3 VPH in star, VL equal to VPH for delta. Sorry, VL equal to VPH for star, VL equal to root 3 VPH for delta. না কি বললাম ঠিক বললাম না না উল্টোটা সরি সরি স্যার VL equal to root 3 VPH for star and VL equal to VPH for delta. That things you have to remember, huh? Please go through your star delta phase to line current conversions, and that things you should remember. But we have taken per phase, so I can multiply it by 3 if there are 3 phases. So E2. Now suppose the rotor speed is increased. Okay, there is a relative velocity. The rotor has started moving. There will be a relative speed. So suppose the slip speed, rotor speed NR is nothing but 0.3 times of our synchronous speed NS. So you can calculate your slip or your slip speed. First you calculate your slip speed. What will be slip speed? NS minus NR. So what is NS minus NR? What is NR now? 0.3 NS. So NS minus 0.3 NS will give you, this value will be 0.7 NS, 0.7 NS. So slip speed will be 0.7 NS. Slip speed is NS minus NR. If you want to calculate slip, you have to divide this by NS. So if you divide 0.7 NS by NS, you will get 0.7. So slip is 0.7. So what will be the EMF generated in this case? You can easily calculate if the slip speed means for this slip speed NS we have E2, then for 0.7 NS what will be the value? Unitary method, you will get 0.7 E2. Okay, so what is 0.7 over here? You see you have calculated the slip. So this is basically generalizing the formula into SE2. So I can say that at any value of slip S, my EMF generated will be SE2 in the rotor of the induction motor, SE2. So SE2 over here, since it is a rotating machine and AC machine supplied from the AC, so EMF equation will be same. And we had also seen in our first lecture how my EMF will be affected by this winding factor. Okay, since it is a distributed winding, it will be affected by winding factor. Other all parameters are same. So root 2 pi f kW N2 phi. N2 I am taking because it is rotor. If it is E1, then it will be N1. So I am studying the rotor side only. So SE2 is equal to S root 2 pi. Fs means supply frequency. Kw2 is a winding factor of your rotor windings. N2 phi. If you bring this S inside and write SFS, your equation will be root 2 pi SFS Kw2 N2 phi. Other parameters remaining same. Now last class we had derived what is SFS. If you remember, it is nothing but FR. My frequency of rotor current was given by SFS, and we did some calculation also. So instead of SFS we can write FR. So my generalized equation becomes this one, root 2 pi FR Kw2 N2 phi. If you are told to find the EMF on the secondary side or the rotor side of the induction motor, 3-phase induction motor, this is the per phase value of EMF. Okay, S into E2 is nothing but this one. Next, third point, we need to calculate the rotor side resistance and reactances. So first one, we'll calculate the leakage reactance. So there is an inductor leakage reactance. Since it is a winding, it will consist of an internal inductance, and it will be have an inductive property and will have an internal resistance. We have to calculate that. So rotor leakage reactance at standstill, or you think about the first the leakage reactance. Leakage reactance is given by XL. XL is what? 2 pi FL. Okay, that formula only will modify 2 pi FL. So rotor leakage reactance at standstill, 2 pi FR. Rotor frequency is what? FR. Okay, don't go through this. This is FR. Suppose this is FR. Then my rotor inductance is L2. So 2 pi FL is replaced by 2 pi FR into L2. Now FR can be written as SFS. See the second formula, FR can be written as SFS. At standstill we are taking, at standstill go to the first formula. At standstill what is slip? 1. So this becomes 1 into Fs. Okay, so 1 into Fs give you Fs only. So instead of Fs, I have used F1 over here. F1 and Fs is same. Please go by this rule. And F2 and Fr is same. F1 means supply frequency, Fs means supply frequency, Fr means rotor current or EMF frequency, and F2 also means the same. So 2 pi S F1 L2, since S is 1, this becomes 2 pi F1 L2, and that is nothing but X2 in ohms. Similarly, if at any values of slip, at standstill S was 1, so at any values of slip, that S will be there in the equation. So 2 pi S F1 L2. Now, what is 2 pi F1 L2? 2 pi F1 L2 in the previous equation, it is written X2. So 2 pi F1 L2 written as X2. What is the extra term over here? S. So we are adding that extra term over here, S. Okay. Next, resistance is independent of all this. So we'll go through just resistance. No need of resistance calculation, R2 and X2. Since X is dependent upon frequency, S will be affected. X will be affected by your slip S. Resistance is independent of that, so it is just a constant value. So next we'll calculate the impedance Z. Z is equal to root over R square plus XL square. So now we are calculating rotor. So R2 square plus X2 square at standstill. First formula is standstill, so R2 square plus X2 square. Next formula, impedance at any values of slip. R2 will remain fixed, so R2 square. At any values of slip from 3, what is the leakage reactance? SX2. Substituting it over here. So SX2 square. So R2 square plus X2 square. You need to remember this formula only. Okay, so that okay, this formula only you need to remember, so that you can whatever condition is given in your question, you put that and put your values of slip. If standstill is given, put S equal to 1. If at any values of slip, calculate the slip value and substitute it over here. Okay. So this S formula you should remember. Next, what will be the rotor current at standstill? I have the impedance calculated. I know the EMF also. At standstill, what is my EMF from point number 1? E2. So can I say E2 by Z will be my current flowing through the rotor circuit? Yes. So per phase rotor current at standstill is E2 by Z. What is Z at standstill? R2 square plus X2 square, written over here. Next, per phase rotor current at any slip. What is the EMF at any slip from point number 1? SE2. Okay, SE2. So EMF becomes SE2. Now next, what is my impedance from point number 4? R2 square plus SX2 square. Substituting it over here. Then we are slightly modifying the equations. Okay, variable inductance in practical realization is little bit difficult. We can analyze this because F is changing, it will change my X only. So whenever, if we are seeing a variable inductance, it's very hard to realize in practical circuits. But if you take a variable resistance, there are very many methods to get variable resistance. For example, rheostat. So it is easy to get a variable resistance. So what we'll do is we'll change this format into something that will keep X2 constant and change my R. So what I will take? S square common. Okay, take your S square common. If it comes outside square root, there will be a S. This S and numerator S cancels out. So there is only E2 and this becomes R2 by S whole square. So now this R becomes variable, R2 by S. Now if I add additional load, I'll think it a resistive load. This R will change, right? Resistive load, this R plus something will happen, or this is a rotor resistance. This is the rotor resistance, something will change if you add a equivalent resistance. So there will be a change in resistance only. X2 and E2 all will remain fixed. So this is my general formula. Okay, general formula. Now, please follow my words now. Can I say this formula over here, can I say from here in the rotor circuit, what is my voltage? E2. There is an inductor also in the rotor circuit, that is X2. And there is a resistance also, that is R2 by Yes, dependent on slip. So I'll make a series circuit which will consist of a voltage source of magnitude E2 in series with your X2 in series with your R2 by S. So that is my next point. Okay, so you see number 7, I'll go to number 6 later. So there is a voltage E2, there is an inductor X2, there is a resistor R2 by S. This R2 by S is often called as electrical equivalent of mechanical load. Why electrical equivalent? Because electrical quantity, R is a electrical quantity, resistance is a electrical quantity. Generally it is a motor, out load will be mechanical. So this is basically electrical equivalent of mechanical load. One second. Now, so this is a RL circuit. Okay. If I write tan theta, cos theta is equal to R by Z, tan theta is equal to X by R. So theta can be written as tan inverse Sx2 by R2. Or you can write X2 by R2 by S. So S comes in the numerator, Sx2 by R2. Right? In case of RL circuit, what you write, cos phi is equal to R by Z. You can find tan phi also. So next, what will be the, now comes the main equations. These are all the impedance calculations, current calculations. Now the main equations comes. Per phase power input to the stator. What is the input from the rotor? What is the input from the stator that comes into the rotor? Now, between the rotor and the stator, there is the air gap. First class lecture, between the rotor and the stator, there is a air gap. In that space, the rotor rotates, and there is a separation between the rotor and the stator. So there is a air gap. So the power is transmitted from the stator to the rotor by means of that air gap only. So this power is also called as air gap power. This power is also called as air gap power. Now, this is given by PG. Go after the namings. PG means air gap power. There are many powers associated over here. So please follow the namings. PG. What is the voltage? E2. What is the current? I2. VI cos phi. So E2, I2 cos theta. Okay. What is cos theta 2? R by Z. What is R? R2 by S. What is Z? Root over R square plus X square. So root over R2 by S square plus X2 square. Correct? Written over here R by Z. Substitute this cos theta over here. Sorry. So it becomes E2 into I2 into R2 by S by this square root. Right? Now bring this square root under E2. I2 R2 by S. I2 R2 by S. This R2 by S will be there. I have written I2 R2 by S over here. I2 R2 by S over here. This denominator part is separated and written with E2. E2 by R2 root over this one. Right. Go to your previous slide. Remember this formula. E2 by root over R2 by S whole square plus X2 square. So E2 by R2 by S whole square plus X2 square is nothing but your per phase rotor current. So I can write I2. So this is I2. So I2 square R2 by S. Or you can think it simply. What will be the resistive loss over here? I square R. So what is the resistance over here? R2 by S. So what is the current? I2 square. So I2 square R2 by S. This will be the formula. Don't have to go into complex thinking, or if you can't understand this. What is the loss in the resistor? I square R. So I2 square R2 by S. This is a simple.
Last line ta abar bolun ঠিক বুঝতে পারলাম না। I2 square টা কি করে আসছে?
Is E2 by square root of R2 by S whole square plus X2 square. এটা আগের স্লাইডে চলে যাও। Per phase rotor current at any slip is this.
আচ্ছা।
Okay.
ওইটা I2.
This is I2. Per phase rotor current. That is I2. Rotor current means I2. Rotor current flowing through this is I2. So this is replaced by I2. This is
hello.
Tell.
বলছি লিকেজ রিঅ্যাকট্যান্স যেটা X2 ধরেছেন ওটা এয়ার গ্যাপ ইনক্লুড করে ধরেছেন তো?
সব এগুলো R2 X2 সব দেয়া থাকবে কোশ্চেন। লিকেজ রিঅ্যাকট্যান্সেস সব এভরিথিং উইল বি গিভেন ইন এ কোশ্চেনস। And if I am told to calculate R2 X2, those will be by that short circuit open circuit test like in transformer we did. we need to find out the parameters of the transformer. Over here also we can perform block rotor test and no load test to find out this R2X if you're told to calculate. Otherwise, normal problems will have they will give X2 as a whole only, considering all the air gaps and every factors they will consider and give it as a whole only. Now PG can be separated into two parts. This is we have found out I2 square R2 by S. I2 square R2 by S. This can be written as I2 square R2 and I2 square R2 1 minus S by S. You can separate it. If you add this two, you will get this formula only. Okay. Now what is I2 square R2? I square R. I square R is nothing but your rotor ohmic loss or rotor copper loss. So rotor copper loss. And this power, this I2 square R2 1 minus S is referred to as mechanical power, which is developed in the rotor. So PG is basically
স্যার এখানে I2 তো পার ফেজ কারেন্ট, তাহলে 3 ফেজের জন্য ওই যে স্টার ডেল্টা যেরকম হবে সেইভাবে বের করতে হবে।
হ্যাঁ এইগুলো সব পার ফেজ। I2 is always per phase since
মানে স্টার কানেকশন বললে তখন ওই যে IL equals to √3 I phase ওইভাবে করতে হবে।
হ্যাঁ ওই ফর্মুলা গুলো দিয়ে বার করতে হবে। ওইটা একটা প্রবলেম আসবে, আই উইল ডিসকাস অল। ঠিক আছে, এগুলো সব পার ফেজ ভ্যালু। যদি অ্যাজ আ টোটাল পাওয়ার ক্যালকুলেট করতে হয় দেন পার ফেজ পাওয়ার ইনটু 3 করে দিতে হবে।
হ্যাঁ তখন পাওয়ার ইনটু 3
3 VPH IPH cos phi ওর জন্য। আর যদি লাইন হয় √3 VLIL cos phi। Generally all your resistances and inductances X and R are given per phase values, so I should be used over here per phase. So I2 can't be line current. So R2 X2 all are given in per phase only, in 3 phase quantity, if you remember all these things. So I will be, if I am using I over here, if it is a star or delta, I have to use I as per phase value only. Okay. ঠিক আছে, আচ্ছা তাহলে এইটা হচ্ছে ব্যাপারটা হচ্ছে। এবার দেখো I2 square R2 by S, এবার এই ফর্মুলাগুলো, this formulas will be required while solving your problems also. This is a simple formula. PG can always be calculated. Remember, আমাদের objective হবে first PG বার করে না। Then if I told to find out rotor ohmic loss and PM separately, we can easily find out how, if you remember this formula. See, I2 square R2 by S, this term I2 square R2 by S is nothing but PG. Can I say this is PM, this second part is PM, this second part is PM, and this part over here is PG. Can I say PM is equal to 1 minus S into PG? PM equal to 1 minus S into PG. Similarly, I2 square R2 is rotor copper loss. If I divide it by S, so it will come out to be PG only. So I can write I2 square R2 by S is equal to PG. So I2 square R2 is equal to SPG. So I2 square R2 is equal to SPG. What is I2 square R2? That is rotor ohmic loss. Very important formula. If you get PG and now your slip, PM and rotor copper loss can be easily calculated. Next, internal or gross torque. Okay, gross torque is the torque developed by this mechanical power. Now, mechanical power, torque, you know, power by speed. So PM by omega R. What is PM? 1 minus S into PG. What is omega R? Now, what omega R can be written as NR also. Think about NR. Okay, only units are changing. NR can be written as 1 minus S into NS, first class. Slip is written as what? Slip is written as NS minus NR, NS minus NR by NS. From here you can calculate your NR, SNS. This is SNS, bring on the other side, NS minus SNS is equal to NR. So take NS common, 1 minus S. So NR is nothing but 1 minus S. Similarly, omega R can be written as 1 minus S in 1 minus S into omega S. So instead of omega R, we will write omega S. Okay. So this 1 minus S cancels out. So PG by omega S. Ultimately, it comes in terms of again PG. Okay. So if you calculate your PG, all things, formulas can be easily calculated separately. So gross torque is PG by omega S. What is omega S? Now omega S unit is in radian. So radian per second. So 2 pi ns. I told you first class, this capital N means RPM. 10 minutes left. If it ends, you please join it again. So this is RPM. Small ns means RPS. Omega S unit is radian per second. So I have used over here ns, small ns. Now if you would have used capital NS, then you could have written 2 pi capital NS by 60. No problem. Okay. NS is written as 120 F by P, that is capital NS, and small ns is 2F by P. Substitute over here 2F by P, what you will get? 2 into 2, 4. So 4 pi F by P. You can write in terms of small ns also. You can write in terms of capital NS also. Check the units. Capital NS is RPM, small ns is RPS, but omega s unit is rad per second always. Rad per second. So this n, whatever we will use over here, will be small n or capital NS by 60. Remember that. Next, another torque, which is this electromagnetic torque and gross torques are same. So PG by omega s, both are having the same formula, PG by omega s. Those are different names given, so you can calculate it. Both are having same. If you are asked PG and means gross torque or electromagnetic torque, you will use PG by omega s. Now, at the output, what we will get? This is the mechanical power we are getting. Then out from at the output, we will get. From that mechanical power, we'll subtract our losses. Okay, this you will understand when I show the diagram. Just understand the formula or the things I'm telling. So if you want to find out the power at the output, what I will do, the developed power minus losses. If I'm taking mechanical power, I'll subtract my mechanical losses, which are my friction and windage losses. Now, if I calculate shaft power from the this one, from your PG, air gap power, okay, we have to subtract our ohmic loss and friction and windage loss both. We'll come to this later. Just understand the formula. Input minus losses. So for this equation, my input is this. For this equation, my input is this. Now shaft torque, at the output, what is my torque? So obviously we have to take the shaft power. So PSH. So PSH by, now at the output, what is my speed? Omega r. So PSH by omega r. Omega r, what is my relation with omega s? 1 minus s into omega. So this is my formula. So all formulas are written over here. Okay. And another type of this you can calculate if stator input is given. Stator input minus your stator losses gives you your PG also. This is another formula. We will come to this later. I'll just have a reference for this also. Okay. Now what we'll do, we'll classify the losses. What are the different types of losses? Just 1 second. Just. Now, if you think about a rotating machine or any machine, there will be two types of losses. There will be fixed losses, there will be variable losses. Fixed losses, where it happens, it appears in the core, right, the magnetic core. And the variable losses occurs in the resistances, maybe the brush, if there is brushes present, then occurs over there. So all this occurs over there. Now, what are the fixed losses? Those you call as hysteresis, eddy current losses, all those are fixed losses. That's a core loss. So first one will classify as core loss. Okay, first one will classify as core loss. Next, since it is a rotating machine, there will be some bearing, so that the friction losses are reduced. So there will be some bearing material losses also. So bearing friction losses there will be. Next, there will be brushes in case of only wound rotor induction motor. So there will be brush losses also. And the windage loss. Okay, the friction and windage loss. The friction caused due to wind is called your windage loss. So there will be some windage loss. So these are all your fixed loss, which will be directly given in your question while solving the problems, or some losses can be calculated by some formula. We'll come to it. Means standard formulas, not you have to derive lots of huge formulas for this. And variable loss next. Variable loss, first of all, that comes into my mind is that I square R loss. If there is resistance, current changes, there will be I square R loss. So there will be stator ohmic loss, stator conductor loss. There will be rotor ohmic loss, rotor conductor loss. Okay. And there will be a brush contact drops, as you realized in your induction. If you remember your DC motor, what we do, 1 volt per brush. So what we do, 1 into 2, and subtracted that from our main voltage equation. And there are some stray load losses also that occurs in your conductors and iron materials. These are actually very hard to calculate, so those are usually considered as some percentage of the main frequency efficiency, sorry, and that is how they are subtracted. So we'll discuss a little bit detail into this, then we'll see the power flow diagram where you can derive all this equation. This equations 14 equation, 16 equation, this equations what we have written, rotor ohmic loss plus this one, all this you can understand from there. So we'll discuss about the losses just in 2-3 minutes. What are this? And in the next meeting, we'll discuss. Means after this 40 minutes are over, we'll discuss about the power flow diagram and few problems. 2 problems I'll do. So fixed losses. So fixed losses are generally constant. Okay, generally constant over the working range of the induction motor. Whatever you change your speed or all, they generally fluctuates in 1 to 5% between their range. But so they are considered as to be constant. Okay. Now, if you had recalled our transformer classes and all, I had derived some equations of eddy current loss and hysteresis loss. It was dependent upon square of the frequency. Now, square of the frequency, rotor currents, if you had seen. So what was our rotor current? Fr is equal to SFS. Right, 50 Hertz was our frequency, S was 0.01 suppose. So frequency will be, FR frequency will be very less. 0.01 into 50 will give you very less frequency. And that square will make the losses more negligible. So that's why those cold losses and all, rotor cold losses is considered to be negligible. Cold losses are constant, but rotor cold loss can be considered as negligible. If value is given in the question, then you have to consider. If not given in question, then these are considered negligible. Why? Because of this reason. Frequency is very less and square of the frequency will be more lesser. Achha. How fixed losses are calculated? This is a formula which will require in problem. This fixed losses are nothing but your cold loss. If you recall your facts, it is obtained by your open circuit test or no load test. So no load test or open circuit test on induction motor can give you your fixed loss. And fixed losses can be given as power input at no load, whatever the wattmeter reads the reading, minus your stator ohmic loss. Whatever there will be, since I am giving a supply to the stator, I have to calculate the ohmic loss in the stator also. So minus the stator ohmic loss will give you your power loss at no load. Because if I am connecting no load, that means all the power that is fed into the stator are utilized in the stator only, no power is transferred to the rotor. So all will be consumed by the stator only. What is there in the stator? Winding. So there will be some losses in the stator, in the winding. So if you subtract that power minus that winding loss, you will get your fixed losses. As what are your variable loss? Stator and rotor ohmic losses. Okay. And how you calculate this variable losses? You know, short circuit test. That name is over here given as block rotor test. If this is a wound rotor induction motor, it will have a brush. Okay, so if there are brush current given or slip ring currents given, you can multiply it by 1. And if there are 2 brushes, you multiply it by 2. Okay, so Vi into 2 will give you your total power loss in the brush. And stray load losses, if given in question, then you have to use it, or whatever the efficiency is given. Suppose they tell you there are stray losses, and your efficiency comes, a calculation after efficiency comes out to be 95%. So 95 minus 0.5 will be your total efficiency of the induction motor. That is 94.5%. If not given, then no need to consider this. So what is the efficiency formula? Output power, that is shaft power, divided by input, that means output plus losses, PSH plus fixed losses plus your stator and rotor ohmic losses. So output by input into 100. So this is our basic formula. Okay. So next is our power flow diagram of induction. This is a must remember for you all. You have to remember this, otherwise you can't solve your problems. Okay. So first is power input to the stator. See, my arrow direction is like this. So power input, then this is output. So arrow direction is outside. So power input to the stator from the mains. Stator, what are losses in the stator? There will be stator I square R loss, there will be stator core loss. What is the power developed over here? The rotor input power or the stator output power, right? If I call this as stator output, this power is only transferred to the rotor input. So I can call this power as stator output or rotor input. And this power is transferred to the rotor through air gap. So this is also called as air gap power. So or PG. So whatever the power is over here is also same, considering this as efficient, highly efficient, no loss occurring in this air gap and all. So all the power gets transmitted over here. So PG. Next, in the rotor, what will happen? There will be two losses again, like in the stator I square R loss, rotor I square R loss, rotor core loss. So rotor core loss, rotor I square R loss. From that, after that, we'll get our mechanical power, PM, that we had discussed over there. And from PM, if I remove my friction and windage losses, that will be given in your question or stated somewhere in case of any problem that will be given. So that if you subtract from your PM will give you your PSH. Now, how am I forming those equations? You should remember one thing: input is equal to output plus losses, right? If you are not getting anywhere, please stop me and tell me. Input is equal to output plus losses. So output is equal to input minus losses. So if I consider this system, only up to this, from PM to PSH, which is my output and which is my input? Anyone tell? Which is my
Input
output?
PM.
Input PM, output PSH. So PSH plus friction and windage will give you PM. Okay, that is how those equations are written. Now, if I consider this part only, so output is PM, input is PG. So PM plus this losses will give me PG. Next, if I consider this whole system over here, PSH plus this losses, friction windage plus rotor core loss plus rotor I square R loss will give me PG. So this power flow diagram, very important, very, very, very important. All problem solving. If I consider this part of the system, now PG becomes my output. Previously, all this system on this side, PG was becoming my input, but system, if you consider on the stator side, PG becomes my output. So PG plus this losses will give me my power input. If I consider the whole system, PSH plus this plus rotor I square R loss plus stator core loss plus stator I square loss is equal to power input to mains, stator mains. So this is,
স্যার
হ্যাঁ বলো বলো।
স্যার ওই যে রিংটা করা রয়েছে মাঝে,
হুম হুম
হ্যাঁ ওই রিংটার বাঁদিকে ডান দিকে দুটোই রোটর ইনপুট পাওয়ার এয়ার গ্যাপ পিজি কেন বলা হচ্ছে? মানে রিংটা দিয়ে কি ডিনোট করা হচ্ছে ওটা?
সরি,
এয়ার গ্যাপ।
হ্যাঁ এটা হচ্ছে এয়ার গ্যাপটা, মানে যেটা প্রথম ক্লাসে একটা
অ্যাজিউম করে নেওয়া হচ্ছে যে এয়ারে কোনো লিকেজ হচ্ছে না।
লিকেজ হচ্ছে না, লিকেজ হচ্ছে।
আচ্ছা,
এটা হচ্ছে ওই স্টেটারের মধ্যে রোটারটা প্লেস করা থাকে, তো rotor, all the flux that is produced in the stator passes the air gap and cuts the rotor conductors, na? So that air gap is over here. This air gap is shown over here. This air gap is shown over here. So no losses in that air gap. All power that is produced in the stator is transmitted to the rotor only. So whatever there is output in the stator, that is the input to the rotor. That is the input to the rotor also. So এইটা কিন্তু খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট, ঠিক আছে? আর ফর্মুলাস গুলো খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট. This formula is very important. What I have written it down. This PG, how PG, PM, PS are related, how these torques are calculated, the shaft torque, electromagnetic torque or internal or gross torque is calculated, how these output powers are calculated according to its formulas given, and last, how this efficiency is calculated. Well, we'll discuss two problems. Just check two problems. আচ্ছা, পিডিএফটা দেখা যাচ্ছে তো, জিমরার পিডিএফটা? আচ্ছা, This problem, see, you can, I have shared you this Bimra PDF, you can look through it also. আচ্ছা, ধরো ইন্ডাকশন মোটরে এই প্রবলেমটা দিয়েছি জাস্ট। I'll discuss this problem only. Next day we'll take another problem. A 3-phase 4-pole 1440 50 hertz induction motor has star connected rotor winding. Resistance is given 0.2 ohm. Standstill reactance is given 1 ohm. Standstill reactance. Please take care of this. So that is X2 is given. That's why they have used standstill word. 0.2 is R2. Stator is energized at induced EMF 120 volt per phase. Calculate rotor current. So rotor current per rotor power factor at starting and full load. At starting, that means rotor is not rotating. That is standstill condition. Slip is 1. So what will be my current? E2 by R2 square plus SX2 square, right? General formula. What will put S value? 1. So S value is put 1. Substituted over here. Since I2 is per phase value, we are not changing this 120 volt. We are keeping it as 120 only per phase value. So 120 by this will give you this one. Okay. What is the power factor at starting? We had already used the formula, if you recall. The formula power factor starting R2 by S by square root of R2 by S whole square plus X2 square. So S is 1. So it becomes R2 by R2 square plus X2 square square root. So that is formula written R2 by R2 square plus X2 square square root. Substituted the values, calculated this one. Okay. Rotor current found out at starting. Rotor power factor starting found out. Torque. So for torque you need power. You can calculate your power I square R by S. So I2 square R by S, since we are taking starting current. So this is I2 or S2, ST starting current. R2 by S, S is 1. So substitute 117.67 over here, R2 over here, you'll get it. Omega S, how will you calculate? 2 pi NS by 60. Since all values are given in RPM. Now, take care of this value, 1440 RPM. All these values are not your NS. I gave you some standard values of NS. Please be careful of those. Remember those so you will not get confused over here. These values of question RPM always given are generally rotor speed, NR. So 1440 RPM is your NR. So synchronous speed you can calculate for 4-pole 1500, or if you remember the table it will come out to be 1500 only. So substitute it over here, you will get 50 pi, then equate it at this point, so you will get TE. Okay. Now we are also told to find out at full load. Full load speed means this one only. No other speed is given. That means you have to consider this as full load speed only. So you can calculate, this is NR, that means. So you can calculate your slip. So you can calculate your slip. You get your S value. Now all the standard equations, all will be having a term S. So this will be I2FL now, full load. So I2FL. You can use R2 by S whole square plus X2 square, numerator term E2, or you can use this formula also. Substitute all the values which we had derived, you will get this equation. Again, rotor power factor, use the formula, substitute it, get it. Next, add, use your torque equation, get your formula. Okay. And
torque দিয়ে মাল্টিপ্লাই হচ্ছে কেন?
ওটা না করলেও হবে, জেনারেলি 3 ফেজ টর্ক বার করেছে ওর জন্য, টোটাল টর্কটা বার করেছে ওর জন্য, না করলেও হবে, কোনো অসুবিধা নেই। বাট জেনারেলি যখন টর্ক পাওয়ার বলি, জেনারেলি 3 ফেজ পাওয়ার বলি, তো অলওয়েজ উই টক ইন পাওয়ার ইন টার্মস অফ 3 ফেজ, and torque also developed by that 3 phase power. So it's better to multiply with 3. Whenever you are finding out power, you calculate power multiplied by 3, মানে I2 square R2 by S into 3, and then substitute in torque equation. So it will be a good practice for you, since power is 3 phase over here. Some ratio they have found out. You can find starting to full load current. Starting current you already know 117.67. Full load current is 23.53. Ratio between that they have found out. If given in question, you can find out. Last one thing I need to discuss is this one. External resistance 1 ohm is connected per phase in the rotor circuit. So what you need to do, what modification you need to do? Instead of resistance
R2 টাকে চেঞ্জ করে দাও।
হ্যাঁ, R2 চেঞ্জ
1.2
1.2 ব্যাস, আর কিছু নেই অঙ্কটা। 1.2 আবার সেম ফর্মুলা, 1.2 ইউজ করে স্টার্টিং কারেন্ট বার করেছে। রোটার পাওয়ার ফ্যাক্টর অলসো দে হ্যাভ ফাউন্ড আউট লাইক দিস, স্টার্টিং this as starting torque also they have found out. Similarly you can find out full load current and torque also. Okay, This is a very easy problem. Like this starting current and all this torque can be found out. Next day we'll discuss this one. This is a very important problem, 6.7. You can go through this. It is a Bhimra book. I have forwarded to you. You can page number. You can in the PDF it will be 723. 723 of 885. This problem is very important, and whatever formulas we have discussed today, they have used all these formulas over here and solved CS3 I2 square R2 by SPG. All this state phase current, line current conversions. This formula is T equal to PG by omega S. All these are used. We'll discuss it on Wednesday. Till then, if you have the PDF, you can go through it. Okay. So today up to this only. We have discussed all these formulas and all. So go through these formulas. All these formulas are given in the PDF, given in the book also. What are types of losses, and briefly classified that. All you need to do is at last efficiency calculation. All calculations will lead to efficiency. And very important, you need to know your power flow diagram. Okay, power flow diagram is very important. If you know this, and if you can calculate this I square R this, you can use your input equal to output plus losses formula and get all the values. If you know this whole diagram, practice it by drawing it 2 to 3 times in your copy. You can easily solve all the problems. So up to this we have done. Next day we'll discuss about that problem and do something equivalent circuit and all. We'll study about equivalent circuit of induction on Wednesday. Let's see how much we progress and we'll check that. Thank you all.